Best known for playing Mark Cohen, the beloved filmmaker that touched our hearts in what would turn out to be one of the most groundbreaking musicals of all time, Anthony Rapp's artistry and contribution to the American musical theater has touched the lives of millions over decades. From working closely with Idina Menzel in If Then, and originating roles so iconic they not only conquered the Broadway stage, but also the silver screen, Anthony takes us on a journey through love, loss, and sacrifice. We now take you to the neighborhood where Jonathan Larson spent his time before his hit phenomenon Rent hit the Broadway stage, and give you an insight into how Anthony Rapp used his life experience to fuel his art. Here's director Paul McGill in this segment of Broadway Masters. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Rapp.
I just want to know, least favorite to favorite, acting, singing, dancing.
Well, I don't know if it's favorite or skill level. Dancing is by far my lowest skill. Like, the most dancing I've done was the tango in Rent, and I ultimately feel pretty good about how I did in it, but let me tell you that I had to work my butt off to get anywhere near that good at it, and it was... And Tracy Thoms in the movie. I mean, the choreography in the movie was so much more complicated than the choreography in the stage version. But both versions still, I mean, it was like I had to work really hard to just do those steps. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I feel like as a dancer, I'm very committed, and I'll work really hard, and I have I don't have like incredible technique by any means, but I'll go for it fully. So, but that's like in terms of certainly the bottom. And then I guess I don't always separate out acting and singing, if that makes any sense, because I don't think there's any singing, certainly in a show, there's no singing without acting. And of course, if I'm doing a play with no singing, then that's the thing. But the musicals that I do, it's not just sort of like Park and Bark. It's not like just stand there and sing a song. It's always story driven. It's always alive in the moment. So, I mean, I don't know. Doing a musical, it takes more rigor, I guess, just in terms of singing versus just acting or just singing. And there are times when, I do love the rigor, the demand of it and the rigor of it, but there are times when it's nice to do a play and not have to worry so much about my voice. But it's not, I wouldn't say that one is more than the other. It's hard to...
What about auditioning, rehearsing, performing?
I love rehearsing a lot, and I really have never really minded auditioning too much.
One of the few.
I know. I mean, I do know that some actors really hate auditioning. I do think of it as an opportunity to play, and even some really good audition experiences that I had, where I didn't get the part, it still was a good experience. And Michael Greif, who directed Rent, I had auditioned for him for another play the summer before he cast me in Rent, and he didn't cast me in that, but it was a great experience. And I don't know if he literally remembered that experience the same way that I did, but it can't have hurt. It was all positive ultimately. The fact that I didn't get that and I did get this, it all worked out.
Right.
I do like to share that with people because I feel like it's important to know that getting a part or not getting a part in an audition process has something to do with how you do in the room, of course, but there's so many other factors at play of whether you get the part. So it's not personal if you don't get cast.
Right. And who knows where it could lead you in the end.
Exactly.
And it could lead you to Rent, exactly. In the end.
So, performing, is the ultimate thing. But I love the rehearsal process. I feel like rehearsal process is where the sort of the roots of the tree go deep, deep, deep into the ground, and then performing is just living it.
Right, the foliage.
Yeah. And I do like the discipline required of, it's a funny thing. It's you're repeating it, but you're not repeating it because there's no way it can ever be exactly the same. But at the same time, I like that there's a framework and you have to live inside the framework, but it still is alive every time.